Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth lecture of IUPAC nomenclature. Today we will be discussing the naming of alkynes and cyclic compounds. If you didn't watch my previous lectures, please watch it. Let's get started. Now we will understand this through an example, right? So if I have compound like this, then one thing that you have to remember is when this ends, right, when this triple bond ends in this corner, here and here, left and right side, there will be a carbon. Many people what they think is there are only three carbons, that is one, two, three. But actually there are two more carbons, right? So this one you have to remember, right? Now let's name this compound. Now tell me tell me from where would you choose to do the numbering. In the previous lecture itself I have told you that the double bond and triple bond should be given higher priority over locants. Here we don't have any locant, so if we go from left to right, the triple bond would get the lowest number. So let's do it from the left to right. Now tell me the 1 degree prefix. What's the 1 degree prefix? There is no cyclic compound, so there will be no 1 degree prefix, right? And there is no 2 degree prefix as well because we don't have any locant. Now, what is the word root? The word root is pent, right? So, pent because we have 5 carbons. What is the 1 degree suffix? The 1 degree suffix is "-ine", and there is no 2 degree prefix, 2 degree suffix as well. Now, because 2 degree prefix suffix means functional group, right? Now here the IUPAC name of this compound is pentyne, right? So naming of alkenes and alkynes is very easy. So we will now discuss naming of compounds having both alkyne and alkene. Okay, it will contain both double bond and triple bond. So if there is only double bond we can do it, if there is only triple bond that also we can do it. Now we'll do it combination of these both, right? Now if I have this compound, so I have a double bond here. Now tell me what is the IUPAC name of this compound. So whenever you find both triple bonds and double bond in a compound, so which one should be given higher priority? Uh, Nothing is given higher priority. You should see that any one of the number should get the lowest number. If you do as we compared in previous lectures, I taught you that for locants you will compare the first point of difference, right? Nothing is given higher priority, right? If uh, the locant from both the sides it comes same number in the case of locants, then we'll go with the alphabetical order, right? Now if we go from left to right, the double bond triple bond receives number 1. If we go from right to left, double bond receives number 2. If we go from left to right, triple bond receives number 1. So 1 is better or 2 is better? 1 is better, right? So we'll go from right to left. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now tell me the 1 degree prefix. There is no 1 degree prefix. 2-degree prefix? There is no 2-degree prefix. What is the word root? Hex is the word root. And now we have in and ein. So through alphabetical order, tell me E comes first or Y comes first? E, right? So 4 in and 1 ein. So this is the IUPAC name of this compound. Now let's go to the another example. Now note one point that if both alkyne as well as alkenes are present in the parent chain, then numbering is done in such a way so that the lowest number is given. I am repeating it again. If both alkyne as well as alkene are present in the parent chain, then numbering is done in such a way so that lowest number is given. So you have to make your notes, right? So now name this compound. Now if we do the numbering, now parent chain, this is only parent chain. Now if we want to do the numbering, either we go from left to right or right to left, both double bond and triple bond receives number 1. So in this case, in this type of case, we will give higher priority to the double bond. If and only both triple bond and double bond are receiving same number, then only we will give the priority to the double bond. Otherwise, like in the previous example, we would give to which the number is lowest number is coming. Now if we do the numbering, we have 5 carbons, so the word root would be pent and 1 in and 4 ein. So this is the IUPAC name of this compound. So that's all. This is only the concept. So in the practice sessions we will practice this in detail, right? So in this class we would only discuss the theory, right? And in the practice sessions we would discuss more problems so that you will be comfortable. Now let's discuss the naming of cyclic compounds, right? Let's discuss the cyclic compounds. Now, so generally how we name a normal compound, like that only we'll number the cyclic name the cyclic compound, but one more word is added, that is cyclo. So let me give you an example. When I have this one, when I was teaching the general scheme of IUPAC naming, then only I taught you this also. So if you first, if you find a cyclic compound, write cyclo. First you write cyclo. Then now check if there are any locants. There are no locants. Now what is a word root? Word root is hex. Hex and all are single bonds, then ein. That's all. This is very simple. We have understood this in previous lecture itself. Now let's see another example. Now let's suppose we take this one. So in cyclic compounds you can start numbering from any side, right? You can start numbering from any side. You should ensure that the locant receives lowest number. Should ensure that locant receives the lowest number. When I start numbering from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now the IUPAC name of this compound is, first you should write, here locant is present, so you would write locant 1 ethyl cyclo hex, sorry, pent ane. That's all. Let's see another example. So if I have this one, so now when we start numbering, I have this one. Now from where you should start? Now from any side, if you start, any one of the locant would get one number. Now you should see the alphabetical order. So this, what is this? This is pentyl and this is methyl. So the IUPAC name, so the numbering would start from methyl as M comes first. So 1, 2, 3. So 1 methyl, 3 pentyl, cyclo hex ane. So naming of cyclic compounds is also easy. Now let's do it. Take this example, right? So now I have methyl here, chlorine here, and I have methyl here and bromine here. So I have ethyl and chlorine here and methyl and bromine here, right? Now from where would you start the numbering? Of course from bromine, because B comes first. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Now the IUPAC name is 1 bromo, 1 bromo, 3 ethyl and 3 chloro and 1 methyl heptane. So this is the IUPAC name of this compound. So we'll conduct an practice session also, in which we will do some practicing, through which we can understand the topic, right? So in cyclic compounds we would have two cases. Case 1 is when cyclic compound, then when the ring is parent chain. When the ring is parent chain, then if the ring is parent chain, we would do it in this manner, right? In this manner, when ring is not the parent chain. Case 1 we have already discussed. When ring is parent chain, when ring is not parent chain, it's a locant, then the case would be like this. Now you can easily tell that here number of carbons are more than here. So this is open chain, is only the parent chain. Now we would start numbering from here 3, 4, and what is this? Generally, if it is not acting as a locant, we would call it as cyclopentane, propane, but now we will call it as cyclopropyl. So that's all. So 3 cyclopropyl and now we have but 1 ene. So this is the IUPAC name of this compound. So let's see an last example, and in the practice sessions we would practice more. Now name this one. So this is cyclobutyl. So numbering you would start from here. 2 cyclobutyl and pent AN. So this is the IUPAC name of this compound. Hope you understood the lecture. I have explained you in detail and easiest way. So naming of alkane and cyclic compound also finished. We will be also conducting the practice session. So don't worry. And in the next lecture, we will be discussing the naming of alcohols. So till then, keep practicing. Bye.